Thank you so much again, our dear listeners. Here to welcome you again at the Orchard of Marriage. Emmanuel Ahimbisibwe is my name, and I must emphasize again that our mother platform is the YouTube, is where you find our full message, and our other places, our Instagram, our TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is going far and far. Recently, we're making an assessment of where have we reached and which people's lives have we, people that have listened to us, followed us. And my friend, I was so much amazed that almost across the globe, so many countries, so many people have listened to our message. And I want to thank God so much for us. And even this time before I came here to record this message, someone called me, someone I had taken so many years. I think I last saw this person when he was a young man, and he called him and said, I have been looking for your contact and I could not get it, but I saw your message on YouTube teaching about marriage, and I said I must look for your phone, and I called you. So I talked to this person and I was so grateful. I was so humbled to hear this message. And I want to challenge you, dear friends. That's what gives me energy to go on. Every other day, I hear people saying, I saw your message on YouTube. I saw your message on TikTok. You have a good message. Thank you so much. We have been touched. We've been helped with this message. People coming back with testimonies of what God has done in their lives after listening to this message, after watching this message. Dear friends, I am so humbled. I am so humbled when people call me for that. And this time I've brought another message that is so powerful and good. I am passionate for this message, dear friends. And it says that, what do you need before marriage? I have a very big clientele, that follows our message, who are not yet married. Or some people have just married, but maybe they miss here and there. So this message, I want to minister to you, dear friends. I want to pray that the Lord will speak to your hearts, will speak to you, and maybe you reset yourself. You reprogram your lives. Some of the things, when you hear them at this time, they may require you to reprogram your lives and know, hey, I must change here, I must adjust here. Because a lot of things have gone in the world because of wrong perceptions, wrong life settings, wrong life programming. You program yourself wrongly. You program yourself on people whose marriages have broken now and again. People have messed up. You program yourself on communities and societies which are broken down. And every time, whatever you see around yourself, it's about sin, it's about evil, it's about wickedness, it's about movies. Those Nigerian movies where a lot of things are going wrong. So you reprogram and set up yourself around those things, and you don't appreciate even the word marriage comes so hard for you. You don't understand the word marriage does not make any sense. Because marriages maybe that you have seen are marriages that have broken down. But I have come to speak to you, dear friends, especially those of you who have not yet married, that what do you need before marriage? Actually, the title should come out reading before marriage. The title should come out reading before marriage, such that we can move together, dear friends, and we see what do we need to do. The Bible is the Bible is not so loud on the kind of preparation is on what you need before you get into marriage. But we are just told through the vows that you need to prepare yourself. You need to be aware. You need your mind needs to be prepared. You need to be mature enough to reach at this level and say, I need to marry now. So, dear friends, I want to prepare us. Genesis 24, when you read Genesis 2 verse 24, it tells us, and for this reason, the man will move away from his parents and will join with his wife, and the two will become one. Will move away. But at what age do you move away? At what point do you move away? What signals do you see and you know that you are ready now? What shows that you are now ready? You can move on, you can start a marriage. It is not very clear. But I want to speak to dear friends and say, yes, you need to prepare yourself and know that it is now right time to marry. Hey, I was reading also, when you read if you recall, Genesis 24. When Abraham asked his servant, and he said, make sure you go to my own people to get a wife for my son Isaac. And it was ready for the time for Isaac to marry. And when the servant was going to look for a wife for Isaac, he did not just go. When you go to verse 10 of chapter 24 of Genesis, You realize that the servant, he went with a lot of good things. He loaded good things on the camel. He loaded good things on the camel to go and speak, to go and look for the wife for Isaac. Yes, he went for a lot of good things. Gold, maybe silver. I don't know what was there. And that forms part of our dowries. Are you ready, dear friends, to meet the cost? Especially men, are you ready to meet the cost? Before marriage, what do you need? What shows that you're prepared? But much more than the goods that you're preparing, much more what should come faster is emotionally mature enough to prepare and know that yes, I can go. So the issue should be about the long life partnership. You need to be aware, dear friends. Number one, you need to be aware and prepare yourself. Know that marriage is about a long life partnership. Actually, it's a permanent partnership. It is until death do us apart. I will not teach you about any other marriage other than the one that says until death do us apart. That is the marriage you need to know. That is why you need to have your settings on. That's why you need to program your life. That it is until death do us apart. So, dear friends, I want to challenge you and I want to prepare you that it is a lifelong partnership. It is not something we walk in with plan B, plan C, plan K, plan Z. No, it is not. It is a marriage where we walk in with our everything. We walk in with all our commitment, and it is until death do us apart. It is a long life partnership. Emotionally, you need to be ready for this long life partnership. Emotionally, you must be ready to live and cleave. Yes, I think it should be King James Version, which talks about that Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. It talks about living and cleaving. You leave your parents and you cleave to your spouse. So, dear friends, you need to go in when you are ready and prepared to know it is a long life partnership. You must live and cleave. Emotionally, you must be mature enough to know that it is, yes, this is it that I'm going into. Did you know it's a covenant, dear friends? A covenant where God is the authority, and even the marriage relationship you have gone in, there is a husband who is called the head of the family, and there's also the family, the wife who has come in. So, dear friends, I want to challenge you and I want to call upon you that it is a long life relationship, and there is a head and there is a one that the wife who submits the husband and the wife who is head into the family, and that's the relationship. Is your life ready? Dear wife, are you ready, dear young ladies? Are you ready to submit your life to a man? Are you ready to accept a man to lead you, a man to head you, a man to guide you, a man to offer leadership over you? Are you ready for that? So I want to challenge you, dear friends, that yes, it is a covenant, it is a long life partnership. You emotionally must be ready for this. It is about, holding on, having hard talks. You need to prepare your mind that it is not just about fun, it's not just about this and the other. You need to know that, there will be moments of a hard talk. There will be moments of complications. There will be moments where you need to forgive the unforgivables. To forgive the unforgivables. There will be certain times, when you need to hold the talks over these things that are extremely hard for you to talk about. To talk about openness and communication, you need to be at your best, dear friends. So you need to prepare your life. When you're going in for marriage, as you think about that, is it my time ready to go in, or it's not my time to go in? You need to be ready to handle the cracks. Several times in your marriage, there will be cracks here and there. In a marriage relationship, you'll have cracks. You'll discover things about your spouse that you never expected to be about the person you love most. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, dear friends, this is one reason why in a marriage you're likely to be more hurt in a marriage than in any other relationship is because you have given your everything and your whole to your spouse and to this life partner. You've given your heart, you've opened your body to them, your nakedness, you are naked before them and not ashamed. You've given in your everything, and only to discover certain things are not going right, to find their trusty issues, to find there are cracks here and there. I want to challenge you, dear friends, marriage is about that. Are you ready to handle? Are you ready to handle? Sometimes some of you think you're ready, but the way you react already, the way you respond already, the way you offer respect, you struggle in offering people their own respect. You struggle in honoring people around you. You struggle to honor and respect, to be under the leadership of certain people. If you're struggling to be under leadership of your supervisors, dear friends, will you be able to be under the leadership of your husband? Will you be able? Husband, if you're struggling to manage people outside there, will you manage to head your wife? Heading a wife is actually a very complicated thing. You will not know until you marry. And I want to think that the married men can testify that heading a wife is not a joke. You must make sure you are headed by God. You must make sure that God is in your life and He heads you for you to head your wife very well. Otherwise, heading your wife is a complex. Is a complex, I tell you. So are we ready for all these things, dear friends? So you must be ready, you must be ready. But the marriage we are coming in, this marriage relationship is about building a future generation. It's about building a lineage. It's about building a family tree. It's about, building something that is lasting for generations to come. You will be the first generation in your family, in your marriage. You'll be the first generation in your family. But I want to tell you now, you are counting how many generations are building on what I have built. Yes, the grand and great grandchildren that are coming after the joining of you and your spouse. So have that mentality. Marriage should be about that mentality, dear friends. It's not about fun. I'm coming in for marriage. I'm coming in for this and this. No, I want to tell you, dear friends, you must be ready to build something that lasts for longer, for generations to come. That's something that will stand after you. After you. Some of us, our marriages are stronger because we remember how our grandparents, they lived their marriage, how our grandparents, they lived their marriage relationship. And so it has given us the stamina to move. It has given us the strength to move. How our parents have lived their marriage. It has inspired us. It has given us energy. And this is who we are because we have seen them how they have lived. So when you start immediately, dear friends, when you start your own marriage, I want to tell you, you should be ready to build something like that. The people will testify about your marriage many years later. Many years later. The problem we have today is that people are living for only today. They are only living for their lives. They are only living for themselves and for this time they are in. They are only living for this period they are in, this season they are in. And not mindful that, it is about a long-time relationship. And I want to challenge you. I want to call on your friends. When you come into marriage, just come to know the previous message I told you that you must die. You must accept to die to yourself and you must rise up again. There must be rebirth. So this time I'm telling you, dear friends, you need to know these things and prepare them. Your emotional and physical. You must be ready to handle this. You must be ready to handle this, dear friends. To know it is not just about for today, but it's about for generations to come. Are you ready to forgive endlessly? Before marriage, you must prepare yourself that, life can change any time. Life will not always move according to your principles, according to your expectations. Life will be changing. Life will be changing. This thing of thinking, all women, I have mastered the way women behave. I have mastered a man. I know a man lives their lives like this and this. I want to tell you, you will marry one and you find this one is a very strange case scenario. It's a very strange case scenario. Your husband will look a very strange case, even when you met at the altar, even when you met from the church choir, even when you met from the worship team, even when you met as assistant pastors, even when you met as deacons, even when you met as ushers. I don't know which level you are serving, but I want to tell you, dear friends, you have this one and it looks very strange. A very rare case scenario that you have met. So prepare, dear friends. A lot of things will be very different from what you are. And if you are not coming in a marriage to build and to add on a block, then maybe don't think of going into a marriage. A marriage, you must be thinking of adding on a brick every other time. You must be mindful of the materials you are using. So that's what I'm teaching you, dear friends, that you must have that mentality. But also you must know that marriage is about a journey. It's about walking a journey. There's where you've started from and there's where you are going. So don't stick from where you started from, whatever traits were there, whatever you use when you are starting. We must be walking, we must go going ahead, and we cannot remain static. So I want to challenge you, dear friends, that a lot of things that go wrong in our marriages, it is because we are refusing to appreciate that it is about a journey. Yes, about the journey. And this journey, you'll get hungry, you'll get both hungry and angry. On this journey, you'll get thirsty. On this journey, you'll get weary. On this journey, you'll feel like sometimes, often the marriages, often you have felt like you need to take a leave from your marriage. Some people have even had suicidal thoughts in their marriages. So some people have thought of taking a leave from their marriage. You feel like you need to take a leave from your spouse. Feel like you need to take an off from your spouse, dear friends. So I want to challenge you, marriage is about a journey. We'll be walking and we'll reach somewhere and we get weary. You may need to sit down, listen to we're talking about me time. Me time. You need to sit and refresh yourself for reflection. You need to sit and reset yourself. You need to have that me time where you can you need to retreat and, refresh yourself. You need to sit down and refresh yourself. You may walk and walk and walk and walk and you get very tired. You may need to sit somewhere and you refresh yourself, dear friends. So marriage is about that. As a matter of fact, I want to challenge you as often as possible in a marriage, you need to reach somewhere and first be on a standstill. First, reset yourself. Rethink, dear friends, of your journey. Rethink of your relationship, dear friends, and see what better thing can I bring to my marriage. And also, have you known marriages from God? Those of you are coming into marriage, dear friends, you need to come with this mindset of knowing that marriage is from God. Yes, marriage is from God. It is not from anyone else. God is the designer. God is the creator of marriage. He's the one who said it is not good for a man to stay together or to stay alone. It is not good for a man to stay alone. And so he created a helper. And so we are here to help each other, dear friends. We are here to work together. We are here. The two have become one. So you need to know that, marriage is not about you alone. It is from God. And God is the designer of this marriage, dear friends. Marriage is about growth. When you have these perspectives, these mentalities, they will help you to build your marriage very well. They will help you when you come in your marriage, you will not struggle at all. You need to know that marriage is about growth. We need to see you after 5 years down the road, and we have seen you growing bigger, we have seen you growing stronger, we have seen you growing mature, you have seen you getting more responsible, we have seen you getting more honorable, more respectable. We need to see you, and a lot of things are changing on yourself. Not just changing in the body. Maybe you are carrying a baby, maybe your whole shape has changed because you have eaten well. We need to see a lot of better things also changing in you. Marriage is about growth. But also marriage is about, what tradition and culture are you building? It's about the culture and tradition. You need to be consistent in certain things. You need to be mindful how you do a lifestyle at this time. You need to be mindful, dear friends. Yes, you need to be mindful. So I want to challenge you and I want to encourage your friend. You need to be mindful of the kind of values that you are building together. The kind of values you are putting in place. Sometime back when I was starting this other marriage, this ministry of Watchard of Marriage, I thought about values. You need to be mindful, dear friend. We don't just jump in and jump out. You don't just come in and we are mindful of the values that we are putting together to build the culture, to build the tradition for my family. For my family, for our family. What culture do we have as a family? What tradition do we have as a family? You must be mindful of that, dear friend. You must be how special are we from others? How different are we from others? You cannot just be copying from others. You cannot just be doing everything the way other people are doing. No, you can have your things which are just about the two of you, about your own family. When you say that, at my family, we must eat our supper, we must eat our dinner at 8 p.m. If it is at 8, it is at 8. You can do it, it is okay. At my family, we must sleep as early as we can. We must sleep, everyone needs to be free in a home. You don't need a lot of rules, to infringe on people's, life. You must choose, dear friends. That's what I'm talking about. But it's also, life is about, a bouncing ball. in a marriage, you must know that we also have that life of bouncing a ball up and bouncing it down. It does not go up and disappears. For some reason, it will come back down again. It will come back again. So, dear friends, marriage one time at some point, it will bounce you up, but you need to come back. I think the Bible somewhere says that, when you fall down, don't people rise up when they are falling down? In a marriage, we'll have times when there are moments when we are falling down. We'll have those seasons when we have fallen. But I want to challenge you, you need to rise up again. You need to rise up again. This ball will bounce high, but it needs to come back again down. So your marriage will live like that. It's also like a bouncing ball. But you wish it can walk steadily, it can move steadily, you wish it can be steady progress, but as often as possible, you will bounce and you need to come back. Your marriage itself may bounce away and may need to come back. A lot of situations, some of them that are beyond our circumstances, dear friends, they will bounce us away, but you need to make sure that we are able to come back. But also, I've told you that we need to be prepared of this communication, to be ready for the communication, to make sure that it is flowing and is connecting very well. You need to be an expert in communication. Yes, the way you communicate with each other, it is about, that communication. It's about, moving on together. It's about, interacting with each other. It is about having intimacy with each other. It is about, connecting with each other, dear friends. That is the word marriage. That is the word marriage, dear friends. Intimacy and affection. Marriage is about sharing your body. It's about sharing yourself emotionally, sharing it together. It's about being open to each other emotionally. It is about, communicating with each other very well. Marriage should be as sweet as possible. It is a sweet thing. It is fun. You need to have that mindset that marriage is about having fun and sharing fun with each other. So come in marriage with all these perspectives, dear friends. Don't come in marriage with perspectives of it fails, I walk away. I have not come to suffer. Oh, God of heaven and earth, have mercy on you. At one time, you may need to accept suffering is part of marriage. Suffering is part of marriage. At one time, you may need to accept that, suffering is part of marriage. You will suffer at some point. You will be affected at some point, dear friends. But it's about becoming one, the two becoming one flesh. It's about, having one mind, one appreciation, same direction, same connectivity. You don't pull ropes forever, dear friends. You need to connect with each other. You need to have that oneness, dear friends. So may the good Lord bless you, dear friends. But marriage also has, sacrifices. Sacrifices. I want to challenge you in this marriage journey that I'm calling you into, that you're about to start, or those of you who have started. It is about sacrifices. You must be ready to sacrifice for each other, to sacrifice for your marriage. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 to 31 will tell you how marriage is about sacrificing for each other. Are you ready to sacrifice for each other, dear friends? How much are you ready? Actually, the Bible challenges that the husband, should be ready to die for his wife, should be ready to give in for his wife, should be ready, to sacrifice as much as possible for his wife. But you know how much wives have sacrificed for their families, for their marriages? Do you know the childbirth itself is a dying and rising up? It is a dying and resurrecting childbirth. For some of them, the experiences can be so painful. A Caesar, 4 Caesars, to give birth to the 4 children, or even maybe, more. But Caesars in a theater. So, dear friends, you die and rise up again. But emotional also, you'll have moments when you have died totally. And you need to be resurrected. You need to be risen up. You need to be brought up again, dear friends. So I want to tell you, marriage is about sacrifices. If you're going in and you're not ready to give sacrifices, to make sacrifices for your marriage, for your spouse, better not go in. But the good news is the grace of God is there to pick us up. The grace of God is there to carry us on. The grace of God is there to strengthen us all, to strengthen us, dear friends. We come to live. We come to live and cleave. Dear friends, when we come in, you have started a completely brand new life with your spouse. Completely brand new life with your spouse. So that is why I would be so glad when you are able to begin communicating and talking to each other throughout the night. By 3 a.m., you are still talking to each other, communicating with each other. By, you started maybe by 11 when you went to the bed, but you're taking it to midnight, you're taking it to 1 a.m. You are communicating to each other and you are enjoying sharing about this and this, what is happening around your life, what is happening about your workplace, what is happening in life, your focuses, your strategies, your future, how you look at it. I want to challenge you, dear friends, have those moments. Have those moments, yes, when you're communicating and open to each other. Marriage is about that. However, hard times will also be there. You need a time for hard talk. You need a time when you feel like you have sacrificed too much and yet you need to sacrifice more. You need a time when you need to forgive the unforgivables. You need a time to walk this journey, dear friends, together. So thank you so much, dear friends, for listening. My friends who have not yet married, you need to prepare yourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically. You need to make sure you are ready to handle. Marriage needs people are ready to handle. Commitment all the time, whether it is sunshine or it is raining, you need to be committed to each other. The Lord bless you.